Gangster's old-fashioned. Now it's gangster
original.
Yeah.
Gangster original.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to be afraid?
Kind of.
How are we supposed to react?
Intimidation, just like a big house.
Guys, I'm reading some of your tweets here. The hashtag, of course, is Playground on Spice. Grid Ojaka. Hey, yawa. He says, wow, nice to see and hear these veterans of good radio and fresh vibes. Kudos to Spice.
What?
Veteran.
Oh, no.
That means you're over 40.
Roy, all those years you've been sweeping under the carpet.
Fred Engosia says, just tuned in now. Happy that you guys are back on air. Thank you, Fred. Buffalo Dash. He's talking about the boxing we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
He says, these money fights are acted. Don't be fooled. Mike and Paul have been rehearsing and expect more rehearsals, displays in the ring. Meanwhile, Harambe wamebanduliwa mapema. You know, I had to read it all so that I'm not saying anything that's for adults only. He says, I saw this coming when one starts playing so-and-so to draw, Marahu to win, wewe kuisha.
You start hoping
Kasten Wacholi at Radull. You came back after 2 years before Arsenal wins the Premier League. Go away! Guys, talk to us on hashtag Playground on Spice. We're going to have another mix shortly from DJ Seda. But Roy, what are you telling me about our young athletes? Because our female athletes particular did really well at the Olympics. Our athletes have been shining, but there seems to be a shadow somewhere. What's happening?
As in, we have not been nominated.
Yeah.
At all.
For Rising Stars, yeah. These are the nominees
at all.
What the nominees for awards?
For the Rising Stars. So basically, they look at the
World Athletics Rising Stars nominees.
Yes.
Which apparently have no Kenyans at all.
But I'm saying the fact that we have no nominees should not really be a shocker, given the fact that there are two things. There's something that I just have to bring that's pretty old. It's called Kimnado. Let me just first start there. Kimnado is a thing that happens in the throat, where the throat dries due to another person's great efforts. It's also known as Schadenfreude, the joy derived out of other people's misfortune. In other words, people are celebrating when Kenya lose because Kenya is too good. We do not want you to win. That's one. That was the old one. That was the old excuse. Because guys actually had issue with the fact that we're much better than others. Now, the issue is, are you really better? Now the world has found an excuse. Because there have been exemplary performances by Kenyans over the last few years. And after that, we have always had an issue, not always, sorry, most of the time, several times, had issues where people are checked up and there's a problem. Recently, we broke the...
Problem, you're talking about doping.
You're saying
it like it's a bad word, Roy.
No, just say
the whole world thinks Kenyan athletes dope. The whole world thinks
world. And by the way,
which is
everyone thinks we take drugs. I didn't say thinks because again we need to also disprove what they're thinking. We had a Kenyan Ruth Chepngetich who broke the marathon world record by around 2 minutes. Which is ridiculous.
That's not even breaking, that's shattering,
smashing, bonanzaing, extravaganzaing it. And the problem is, we then also start asking you a few questions here and there. When Kenyans do dope, actually, when it happens, a lot of times you can actually see that this person was just misinformed. They don't do it intentionally most of the time. But now there's also those Kenyans who are fighting other Kenyans to get into those positions. Yes. So you must ask yourself whether the young guys are beginning to also get involved because of the competitive nature of the game. Don't basically, it's called cutting a shortcut. You know, this is a thing where you're saying, don't look at your child and think your child is innocent because you love your kids. Also be a bit open-minded. Your child could be doing something wrong.
But the thing is, Roy,
I just think that the world has not been justified.
No, the truth is that Kenyans have been caught. Some Kenyans have been caught doping who are world champion material, as Prop and all those guys. So what has happened is that since there was this thing of whenever athletes...
Don't say caught, been accused.
Accused, let's call it. Where you see an athlete just gets off the scene just before the doping can be seen on his samples, and then all of a sudden they stop competing. And it's not only a Kenya thing; it's globally. It's globally done. that is what is making guys to suspect Kenyans, which has led to these young nominations, the nominees for the Rising Stars, not to have any Kenyans on it because they're like,
is that the real reason, or we're not really developing the next generation of athletes?
Carol,
I know doping is an issue. You can't ignore doping as an issue in this country. But is that the reason we don't have top level young athletes who can be nominated
I'll give you the
for
reason.
these awards?
I'll give you the reason.
Look at the guy.
I'll give you a clean reason.
Are we really investing in the next
I was gonna say why
round of young athletes? Or are we expecting? You know, Kenya has always just we've become spoiled.
Yeah.
We're like, we'll have another marathon runner. We'll have another world record in 3,000.
That's why
10,000 is ours.
Kenya is there.
We've become complacent.
Exactly. You know, when you look at Brazil, right? Guys see Brazil winning football or winning something, and people assume that it all comes naturally and they leave it to that.
Yeah.
New Zealand playing well in rugby or South Africa, right? And they think they leave it to that.
And it's just
they don't see the back work that's being done in terms of
the
investing in the young guys.
Yeah.
The under 17s, the under 15 teams and that. In Kenya, what's happened is because we've gotten used to that point where it's itakuja too. The world has moved into a situation where people are working for everything. Every win is being worked for. Every country is trying to beat a country at another thing.
Yeah.
For us guys, we're still a country where we wait for things to happen. I don't say Rwanda. Let's just say the truth, okay? I've said it by mistake. Rwanda. Yeah. There's a bit
of proactivity in there.
You see people working hard to play catch up. For us guys who work for natural things, we just leave it. Tanzania in tourism, right? We know.
They work at it.
They're working at it now, trying to repair. We have been laughing at them for so long, we've forgotten to put work on it. And therefore, when you look at the young guys who are under 17, what ends up happening is about 300, 200 of these kids coming out. But before, what used to happen is that certain agents would come and focus on certain individuals. You know now what they're doing? I don't even use the word goes bad. Herding. It's like herding goats.
Yeah.
You know, you just get generally many of them.
Yes.
Handle about 16, 20 athletes. You don't really concentrate.
You know, one or two will break through.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. So there's lack of focus. Yeah.
You go to LD and pick 500.
And that's a something's going to happen.
Where's athletics?
Now, if that happens, what is that? So you're
because they need to rein in on.
There needs to be some regulation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what they're doing is they're not developing the elite runners, saying that in Kenya's under 17, we've got these 50 guys we need to concentrate on for the next few years. Everyone is just trying to collect their goods and make their goods better.
Because guys have been herded, then it's almost impossible to identify good talent in that herd.
Because what happens is one person does well, then we all jump to that person.
Exactly.
Then another person does well, we all jump. So you're not said, these are the 50 look generally they're in the right place.
Yeah.
Let's concentrate on these ones in a special group nationally and build on them.
So it's like an elite class.
It's a club.
But it's an elite club where I've said, of these 5 guys, 3 are gonna break world records. Your target change completely.
Intentional.
You
intentionally
train. So what we're doing is still doing that thing where we're gambling. We jump from one to the other, and it's really wrong.
Can we intentionally listen to DJ Seda, please?
There's that kind
intentionally.
No, he's no.
Intentionally,
okay.
Guys. It's time for a break. It's time for us to dance. DJ Seda coming up.
More of the classics and the hits you love.